Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving right into one of the absolute most intense, high-stakes sequences in all of literary history. We are talking about Chapter 7 from The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, which is very fittingly titled A Terrible Plan. We're going to break down exactly how a quiet, completely ordinary night in the little village of St. Petersburg spirals into an absolute nightmare. Just picture the scene for a second. You have the town outcast, a kid who literally sleeps in the dirt and is entirely shunned by polite society, and he accidentally steps right into the middle of a terrifying life-or-death situation. He isn't out looking for trouble, but trouble definitely finds him in the dark. The stakes here absolutely could not be higher.
So I want you to pose this question to yourself for a moment. What happens when the town outcast is literally the only person who can stop a gruesome revenge plot? It's a classic thriller setup, right? But it completely shifts our mindset here because we aren't dealing with some fearless, well-equipped hero. No way. We're dealing with Huckleberry Finn, a highly vulnerable kid living on the absolute fringes of society. He's got no authority, zero credibility with the adults in town, and frankly, he has every reason to just run away and hide. And yet, the burden of stopping an unspeakable act of violence lands squarely on his small shoulders. All the suspense we're about to explore hinges entirely on what this one terrified boy decides to do next.
Okay, so it all kicks off when Huck is just waiting outside the local hotel and spots two men. He simply identifies them as bad men. He quietly follows them up the hill into this dark, secretive area. The moon is out, casting these really long, creepy shadows. Huck is tucked away, completely silent behind the trees, just holding his breath as these two sinister figures creep toward the home of Widow Douglas. Now, if you know anything about Widow Douglas, you know she's universally recognized around the village as a kind, gentle older woman who lives entirely alone. Her husband has passed away, leaving her super isolated in this big house. And Huck, he's just a silent observer in the shadows, watching them approach the property. Now, in a moment of pure childhood optimism, Huck initially jumps to a very logical conclusion for a boy in his shoes. He thinks, well, they must be hiding treasure. I mean, who wouldn't want to stumble on a chest of buried gold, right? He literally thinks to himself, good, they'll hide the treasure here, I can find it tomorrow. It's this fleeting, almost ironic moment of innocence before the horror sets in. He actually thinks he's just stumbled onto a lucky break to get rich. But the tension ramps up extremely fast because we, as the audience, know that these guys have completely other plans. It's not about gold or silver. It's about something far, far darker.
It's during this incredibly tense waiting period that the true, horrifying target is revealed. The men notice a light on in the house, which means the widow might have a visitor, so they decide to wait it out in the dark. Think about the contrast here. On one side, you have Widow Douglas, kind, alone, innocent. On the other side, you have her late husband. As the main villain, Injun Joe, starts whispering in the dark, he reveals he isn't there for treasure at all. He's actually there to punish the widow. And why? Because of the actions of her deceased husband. It's this total misdirection of vengeance that makes the impending violence feel so unfair and just deeply disturbing. Just listen to Injun Joe's twisted logic as he whispers in the shadows. He says the widow's husband was an important man in the town, a guy with power. And, according to Injun Joe, this powerful man was very bad to him. But here is where the absolute cruelty kicks into high gear. The husband is dead. Injun Joe can't get to him anymore. So what does he do? He decides, and I quote, "He is dead now, but I can punish his wife." He is actively choosing to target an innocent, defenseless woman purely as a proxy to settle a score with a ghost. Huck's blood basically runs cold as he overhears this, and honestly, ours does too. The sheer horror of this realization isn't just felt by Huck either. The second man, the criminal accomplice standing right next to Injun Joe, is completely taken aback. He pleads in this hushed, desperate whisper, "Oh, don't kill her, don't do that." This reaction is incredibly telling. When even your partner in crime, a guy who willingly sneaks up to a dark house in the dead of night, is horrified by what you're planning, it really highlights just how deranged the plan is. It totally isolates Injun Joe as a figure of pure, unrestrained malice. And then, Injun Joe responds with the exact chilling words that give this chapter its name. Listen to this carefully, and just absorb the raw brutality of the threat. He says, "I'm not going to kill her. I'm going to cut off her nose and her ears. And you, my friend, you will help me, or I will kill you." Just let that sink in for a second. It's not just a threat of death. It's a meticulously planned, gruesome mutilation designed to leave a permanent mark of suffering, and he traps his accomplice into participating under the threat of death. This is the terrifying reality Huck is listening to from the bushes.
Huck knows he has to act, and his heart is practically pounding out of his chest at this point. First, he creeps away, knowing full well that one snapped twig or one crunch of a leaf means Injun Joe will turn that knife right on him. Somehow, he moves away undetected. Once he feels he has enough distance, he just bolts. He runs as fast as his legs can possibly carry him through the dark, until he reaches the nearest safe place, the home of an old man known as the Welshman, and begins frantically banging on the door to sound the alarm.
Imagine the sheer adrenaline of this moment. Put yourself right in his shoes. You're the town outcast, banging on a door in the dead of night, knowing a literal killer might be close behind you. The old man and his two strong sons are jolted out of bed by the frantic noise. The Welshman calls out, demanding to know who's making all that racket. And from the other side of the door comes this desperate cry. "It's Huckleberry Finn. Quick, can I come in?" Huck isn't exactly a welcomed guest anywhere in this town, but the pure panic in his voice is enough to make them pause. Once he gets inside, Huck makes his desperate plea. Now, the Welshman is pretty blunt at first, reminding the boy that the name Huckleberry Finn doesn't open many doors. It's a really stark reminder of Huck's outcast status, but he agrees to listen. Huck is terrified. He begs them, "Please don't tell anyone my name. They'll kill me." He knows Injun Joe's reputation. But despite this paralyzing fear for his own life, Huck pushes through it, because as he tells the Welshman, "The widow is a good friend to me." Think about the incredible bravery here. This outcast who owes polite society absolutely nothing risks his own life for the one single person who showed him some kindness. The rescue operation that follows is beautifully efficient. Minute 0. Seeing the kids' absolute terror, the Welshman gives his word. Nobody here will tell. That promise of safety finally unlocks Huck's tongue. It takes just about 3 minutes for Huck to pour out the horrifying story of the impending attack. And immediately after, there is zero hesitation. The old man and his two strong sons grab their guns and rush right out into the night, heading straight for Widow Douglas's house. They're stepping right into the exact danger Huck just barely escaped. So, the darkness of the night finally passes, but the tension? It definitely hasn't. Early the next morning, Huck creeps back to the Welshman's house. He has absolutely no idea how the gunfight, if there even was one, ended up. He doesn't know if the widow is safe, if the Welshman survived, or if Injun Joe is just waiting in the bushes somewhere. He comes back to the door seeking answers, still very much the frightened boy from the night before. But when he knocks and identifies himself as only Huck Finn, the response he gets this time is one of tremendous warmth and relief. The Welshman calls out happily, "That name can open this door any day or night, boy. Come in." As the source material notes, these were strange words for Huck to hear. For his entire life, his name was a reason to be turned away. Now, because of his immense bravery, it's a key that opens doors. He has achieved this unspoken status as a hero, even if he doesn't fully realize it quite yet. Once inside, the Welshman breaks down the mixed outcome of the night. On the positive side, they made it in time. They found the two men creeping in the dark and managed to stop the attack. The widow is totally safe. But on the flip side, the men vanished into the night before they could be caught or even identified. Hearing this, a profound, visceral terror washes right back over Huck. The color drains from his face, and he looks visibly frightened. The Welshman is observant, though. He sees the sheer panic returning to Huck's face. The room gets real quiet as the old man asks a slow, heavy question. "You know something about those men, don't you? What is it?" The Welshman realizes that Huck didn't just stumble upon some random thieves. The boy's intense fear indicates that he knows exactly who was in that yard, and that knowledge is incredibly dangerous. It's a brilliant build-up to the final, shocking realization of this explainer. Huck looks up, staring right into the old man's eyes, and drops the name that changes everything. He stammers out, "One of them is Injun Joe." Delivering this name completely flips the stakes. The Welshman and his sons thought they were chasing off random vagrants, but Huck knows, and now they know, that they just engaged in a standoff with the most dangerous, vengeful killer in the entire area. The gravity of the situation settles over the room like a heavy blanket. Which leaves us all with a terrifying reality. The villains ran away into the night. But where is Injun Joe hiding now? He is still out there. His terrible plan was interrupted, sure, but his thirst for revenge definitely hasn't been quenched. And Huck is now the only one who knows the truth about that night, placing a massive, dangerous target right on his back. It's a memorable, breathtaking cliffhanger that leaves us wondering just how much darker things are going to get before they get better.
Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope this breakdown provided you with some fantastic insights. What do you think Injun Joe's next move will be?